Spurge here, and today we're going to take a look at the new Sena Impulse Modular Mesh Bluetooth helmet. So if that sounds like a mouthful, it's because Sena has crammed a lot into this particular lid. This is their new helmet that infuses their same technology that can be found in the 50R and the 50S line of communication systems, and this is going to get the upgraded Harman Kardon speakers. Now, when we're looking at this particular helmet, really what you're going to see from a helmet standpoint is you're going to get a composite fiberglass shell, 2 shell sizes with 2 EPS liners, and the breakdown for that is going to be small up to large for the first shell size, and then extra large to 2 extra large for the second shell size. And really what that does is it just helps to, break down a little bit of where you're seeing the size of the helmet in a given size range. Now, what I would say is that for $700, typically we like to see a few more shell sizes worked in there. 3 to 4 shell sizes is kind of the norm. But again, keep in mind that when you're looking at this particular helmet at the $700 price point, you're also getting all of that technology from a comm system baked into this. So typically a 50S or a 50R comes in around the $350, $360 price point just for the unit itself. So considering all of that is baked in here with a few extra goodies, again, that's where some of the price for this helmet is being dedicated to the communication system, which you can see is controlled over on the left-hand side. Now, because that communication system is built into the helmet, it's a bit heavier than we would normally see from a modular helmet. This comes in at 4 pounds in a medium when we threw it on the scale. And from a fitment standpoint, we're going to call this intermediate oval. This is something that is a little bit longer front to back, slightly narrow on the side of the head, something that we would say is normally great for pretty much anyone in the American market. The one note that I want to throw out here is that while it is intermediate oval, it's leaning slightly to the long oval side of things. So for folks out there that have said to us, hey, I need a long oval helmet, there's not enough options out there, I need a little bit more room front to back than on the sides, this is one that you could consider. Still going to work for the majority of folks out there that gravitate towards true intermediate oval, but again, little bit tighter on the side, little bit longer front to back, so something that could start to edge in on something that we would say is long oval there. Now, from a pure helmet standpoint, we're going to break the helmet down, and then we will hit on a little bit of what you can expect from the comm system that's built into this. But what I would say is that if you are looking for all the information on how this comm system operates, you definitely want to make sure you check out our Sena 50S and 50R Harman Kardon video, because that's really going to get into some of the more nuanced details of what you can expect from the communication system in this helmet. So what you're going to see is whenever we talk about modular, we're talking about a helmet that has a chin bar that can move up. This is going to be ideal for you touring riders out there that want to have easy access to being able to take a drink or a snack or have a conversation when you're hanging around at a gas pump without having to take off your helmet completely. So it's actuated via a little button up underneath the front chin. Really no surprises there. When we're taking a look at the inside, it is going to be a ratcheting strap for the closure. That is something that is divisive amongst motorcycles. Some people like a ratcheting strap because it's easy to get on and off. Other people don't like a ratcheting strap. They prefer double D rings. I'm not here to say it's right or it's wrong. I'm just here to let you know that for this particular helmet, you secure it via a ratcheting strap. Now you can see the microphone on this is built in. It's the little boom mic, and keeping in mind that as we talk about the comm system built into this, this is going to be an upgraded Harman Kardon mic over previous generations of the 50S and the 50R. So you're getting better audio fidelity, not just from the speakers in this, but also from the microphone. And we'll get a little bit more into the details of the interior in just a minute here. You can see there is an internal drop-down sun visor that is actuated over on the left-hand side, and you simply push it forward. When you push it forward, it goes up. When you pull it backwards, it goes ahead and it slides down. So when we're looking at this, I like the fact that you've got actual metal pins. That is a slightly nicer feature than what we're seeing on some lower level budget modulars that use plastic pins. So I like the fact that those are metal, just adds to the longevity. From a ventilation standpoint, you've got 2 vents. You've got a chin vent down at the bottom, and then you've got an active vent up at the top that you can close or open. When you take this around to the back, the exhaust vents on this are going to be passive, so there's no way to close off the exhaust vents the way you can with the active intake vents up front. Now, from the actual face shield perspective, the detents on this you've got a little bit of a detent right in the crack position, and then when you open it up, it'll stay all the way open. But again, the detents are a little bit flimsy for what I would expect for a helmet coming in at this price point. So just note there that there's no middle points in this whatsoever. You're either going all the way open, you can go just cracked a little bit, and then you can go ahead and close it up. There is going to be a pin lock insert included in the box. The face shield itself is pin lock ready. And again, you can see there's going to be just some limited features when it comes to that particular detents. The other thing I want to point out too is that there is going to be a chin curtain included, and if you do not like riding with a chin curtain, you can go ahead and you can pull that off, and Sena does provide little accessory borders to kind of refine the look of the helmet. So if you take the chin curtain off, you'll see it's just kind of like the bare shell on the outside. So you can go ahead and you can add those back in if you want a little bit more refinement out of the look with that particular lid. So let's go ahead now and talk a little bit about the inside. And as we do this, we'll talk about that Bluetooth system that is baked in. So from an electronic standpoint, the first thing you'll notice is the charging port right here at the back. So this actually has Wi-Fi built into the helmet. When you're using the Sena charger, you've got a couple different options for how this is charging. You've got a charging port right there that goes right into a USB, and then you also have an adapter if you already have an existing USB-C plug, and then the USB-C plug gets you up into fast charging territory. One of the big nice features that was added to the 50S and the 50R is that you get up into fast charging territory. So if you get to a point where your helmet is out of juice and the comm system is dead, when you're sitting around a diner having dinner with your riding buddies, you can plug it in, and 20 minutes of charge will get you roughly about 3 hours of talk time if you're using this with the mesh system, or about roughly 6 hours of talk time if you're using it with the Bluetooth system. But again, we'll dive into that in just a minute here. Taking a look at the inside, again, this has that wireless, or this has the Wi-Fi built into the helmet, so when you're charging it, it automatically firmware updates the helmet as long as you're connected to a Wi-Fi signal. Let's take a look at the inside now. So again, ratcheting strap design. Cheek pads have 3 snaps on the inside, and then you've got these little arrow tabs on the outside. I kind of loosened them ahead of time. I cheated for the video, but they're definitely a little bit hard to get in and get out. So you want to make sure you take your time with that. But if you're taking a look at this and you're having trouble getting the cheek pads out, they're just 3 arrows that kind of sit along the border of the helmet, and you just have to kind of line them up and just pop them in. But again, the first time that you pull these out, it's going to be a little bit difficult. I made it look very easy there because I prepped this ahead of time. That's the magic of video. Contoured cheek pads, you can see the little glasses there. So they did contour these in a way that they're comfortable for all of you out there using sunglasses or eyeglasses. There is a drop-down sun visor, so whether or not you still want to use sunglasses is up to you. But for those of you out there that maybe are using glasses or transition lenses, this is going to be something that they did kind of contour the cheek pad in a way to accept sunglasses pretty easily. Pulling out the liner itself, you're going to have 2 snaps at the back. And what I liked is the fact that they didn't utilize snaps up front. It's a brow mount, so you have no uncomfortable pressure points at the front of the helmet, and then at the back you can see there's just 2 snaps on either side, so that just pulls right out, makes it very easy to clean and wash your interior. If you're like myself and you sweat a lot while you ride, you want to make sure you're washing that interior pretty regularly. Now what you'll see here, this is the big difference, is that this is already wired in for you, and you can see you've got the speakers, and then you've got this large foam donut. So again, from a comfort standpoint, one of the things with the helmet that you wouldn't get with a regular Harman Kardon Sena unit is that large foam donut, which kind of works to channel the audio right into your old audio canal, your ear, if you will. You'll also notice that there are channels cut out in the EPS to help push that airflow from the front to the back. Not super deep, but they're definitely in there, and it's definitely connected to the vent holes. Now, the one thing that I want to say as you're looking through the back of this, you'll also notice, if you've peeked at it, is that there is going to be that little LED in the back. This is going to be not a brake light. It's not the same as what we've seen from something like a brake free, where it's got an accelerometer in it. It can tell if you're slowing down. But it's just an LED, and this charges through the same way that you would charge the unit itself. So when you're charging the unit itself, it goes ahead and it charges this little LED light. And then the other part of this is that there's 3 different modes you can set it in, and that's all controlled through the Sena My Motorcycle app. So talking about the motorcycle app for a second, so just focusing on the technology that's baked into this particular helmet. This is going to utilize the same technology that we're seeing in the 50S and the 50R Harman Kardon. The Harman Kardon implies an upgrade over the previous generation 50S and 50R. If you're like myself, you grew up in a generation where Harman Kardon really was premium audio in automobiles. They got their start back in 1953, where they were really designing, high-end audio systems for homes, audio receivers. And now what we're seeing is they're moving into high-end audio for Bluetooth and communication devices to work with Sena to give Sena customers and riders a better audio experience. The microphone's upgraded as well. So that's something that's been newly introduced for this new generation of the 50S and the 50R, and that technology is in here too. You're also going to have Bluetooth 5.0, which means that you can connect this helmet with up to 3 other riders for 4 people total with a Bluetooth connection. The range there is roughly 1.2 miles total range, rider to rider. You get a wide span of 1.2 miles for Bluetooth, and the battery life for this on a Bluetooth connection is going to be somewhere between, let's say 12 to 13 hours, depending on use. And then from a mesh connection standpoint, this is where the technology really takes off for Sena. The mesh connection is available in 2 different modes. You can do a private mode, which will allow you to connect this with up to I believe it's 24 other riders with a mesh connection in private mode. And then if that's not enough for you, if you've got more friends than that, God bless you, I would say you would want to then use your open mode. And in open mode, it's unlimited. It's virtually as many people as you want to try and connect. Sena is saying that you can do so. Why you would want to do that, I have no idea. There's barely 4 people that I want to talk to while I'm riding, let alone an infinite amount. But if that's what you are looking for out of a comm system, then the Sena is really the only one that's promising that kind of infinite loop with clarity that goes up to a 5-mile range, depending on the span in between riders. But again, when you're talking about a total rider range with the mesh side of things, you can get up to a total of 5 miles in range. Now, the other nice key features with this, it does have Sena's phone assistant, which is basically Hey Siri, Hey Google for voice command technology. You've got the 3-button technology built into the left-hand side of the helmet. And then what you're also going to see, like we talked about earlier, is that this is going to have Sena's motorcycle app. So that's how you would control and update all the different pieces of this. Within that app, you get an updated EQ system, and you can really fine-tune the fidelity of the speakers that are going to be in this helmet. So there's a lot going on here, and there's even more information regarding the Bluetooth side of things or the comm system side of things. So like I said earlier, if you want all the information, the details about what that 50S and 50R really deliver, or perhaps you just want to compare, do you buy the helmet where everything's already included, or do you just get a Harman Kardon 50S or 50R and add it to your existing helmet? Those are all additional questions that you can kind of research using the product pages. So if you want more information on what you're seeing on the table, or if you want more information about that 50S, 50R comm system, you can always click the info button on your desktop or mobile device, and you can read other rider reviews, folks that are already out there putting the Sena Impulse Modular Mesh Bluetooth helmet through its paces, or you can search more information about the product itself. You can read all the details about the Bluetooth that's baked into this, the helmet, as well as you can also head over to the product page for the 50S and the 50R and do a little bit of research there. We did a great video breaking down those particular systems. It's confusing. There's a lot of different communication devices out there, and if you're feeling like you're really stuck and you're not sure what to go with, don't hesitate to reach out to our customer service team. They can walk you through all the different options available to find the right comm system for you, your riding style, as well as your budget. I want to thank you for joining us for this look at the new Sena Impulse Modular Mesh Bluetooth Helmet. I'm Spurge. Enjoy the ride.